Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce, and Joyce, Emmy voting starts tomorrow, I believe, right?
Tomorrow, as of today, Wednesday, August 18th.
Yeah, so we're recording on right. So we're recording on Wednesday, August 18th. Voting starts Thursday, August 19th.
And yeah, they have the ballots until August 30th. So with great power comes great responsibility.
So I don't have a ballot. I do not get to vote.
Neither do I. I know people who have ballots or will be getting ballots.
Wow. Do you text them and say,
I don't have much influence over them. Like they usually just tell me.
I was going to say, do you text them and try to tell them who to vote for?
No, they, I mean, some of them have good taste.
Yes, I think that's a great way to describe all awards voters. Some of them have good taste and some of them don't. Yeah. And that's the beauty of awards, is that you get them mixed together and something great sometimes happens. The bad taste and the good taste.
Yeah.
So why don't we go through? I want to go through, if you had a ballot and I was a voter too, we should just go through quickly who we would actually vote for.
If we could vote in all the categories.
Correct.
Which is not actually the case.
Correct. We're like a super voter somehow, able to vote across all disciplines, at least in the main Emmy Award, not the creative arts ones. It's going to be great. Let's start with comedy series. This one's easy for me. Ted Lasso. It's a favorite to win. I would vote for it as well. Hacks is good. Not as good as Ted Lasso. I would just pick Ted Lasso and that'd be it.
Okay. See, I would probably vote for Hacks.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, I did enjoy Hacks more than both like Flight Attendant and Ted Lasso, not just because it's like the most recent of them, the three of them that I've seen, but I did enjoy that more. And I guess part of it is also like, I know Ted is probably winning this, which I'm sure is kind of the logic a lot of people use too.
Sure.
So should we discuss any of the other also rans, the other five?
I don't think so. The only one I would even consider is Flight Attendant. I actually really enjoyed. I would actually have Flight Attendant. If it was my ballot, I would have Flight Attendant too. I thought that was better than Hacks overall. I think Hacks will be in the long run a better series because I don't think Flight Attendant can sustain the tone and the mystery in the second season as much as Hacks, which I felt like ended on a note that made me really excited for the second season. Flight Attendant ended where I was like, great show. I never need to see a new episode again. But I know they're doing it.
has a higher bar to clear for season 2. Because it definitely could have just been a limited series.
Yes. I that said, I love this show. And I think for actress, if I was voting, I would have, no offense to Jean Smart. I know it's the smartest science or whatever. I would have Kelly Cuoco still winning. She ruled on the Flight Attendant. So funny. Does the drama really well. I thought that was like a big surprise for people maybe who only know her from Big Bang Theory. The dramatic scenes are really good. It's a great performance. Jean is also amazing. No fault of her own that I would pick Kelly Cuoco. But like you were saying with your pick of Hacks over Ted Lasso, I know Jean Smart's going to win. So I'm just going to go with Kelly Cuoco because why not? That would be my pick.
See, I'm completely going the opposite of what I just said here too, because I think I would vote for Jean, even though she's probably winning. And that's only because like I talked about this before, but like I was torn between her and Kaylee as I was watching Hacks. But like once I watched the 6th episode of Hacks, I was like, God damn it, she's winning.
She's very good in it. No doubt.
Like she just has like just like the second half of that season is just like tape after tape after tape. Like she was just completely serving, as the kids say. And I think I would still vote for her, even though she's, basically a lock.
There are no flaws with your argument. I would just personal preference. I would pick Kaylee, but
we're being super boring right now because we're picking all of our picks are like the obvious choices.
Well, then it's not going to get any better with the next one because Jason Sudeikis for best actor in a comedy. I would pick Jason Sudeikis. Nobody else in this category really seems like would clear the bar for me.
Yeah, same. No offense to any of these other men. Sorry to these men, but
sorry to these men, Kiki Palmer and us on this podcast. Supporting actors, actually, I would have an upset. I've been thinking a lot about this. I love Hannah Einbinder from Hacks. Mm-hmm. Hannah Waddingham is great. I know it's not for this, but I've been on a big Cecily Strong kick. I love Schmigadoon, and I went back and watched a lot of her SNL stuff.
You've been low-key campaigning for her.
And I actually I would pick Cecily Strong. I think her SNL this season was incredible. and her high marks on SNL were higher than any of the other nominees in this category's best stuff. So like her finale of Janine, Judge Janine, is better than anything else in this category. And honestly, let her win just for that. So I would actually pick Cecily Strong if I was voting, but I could see obviously Hannah Waddingham winning. No kidding.
I would vote for an upset pick too. Not for Cecily, but for the other Ted Lasso star, Gino Tempo.
Nice.
So I really liked her in season 1, even though like I think like, Hannah Waddingham kind of, overshadowed like all like the discourse for like the supporting actresses. Some people like think she's in the lead, whatever, but I really enjoyed Juno. And I feel like she needs to get more love, because I feel like Hannah's kind of not through any fault of her own, and she's very deserving of all the praise and all the kudos, but I feel like we need to put some spotlight on Juno.
I totally agree. I actually think she's incredible, and I would argue her performance in the arc is more difficult, because I think there's like, they play with the preconceived notions of the character really well, more so than they do with Hannah, like Hannah Waddingham. Hannah Waddingham is playing like, nobody's really the villain on the show, right? And like she's playing like the mean boss, but she's actually never really mean, I don't think. Even like, so while her arc is fun and like you end up really liking her, it's like you never really disliked her, I don't think, because it's always like they've always presented her ex-husband as like a bigger jerk, even and like it's always like all of her machinations like stem from that, and it's obvious as a viewer that it is. I think Juno comes in, you're expecting like, she's like a page, whatever it is, page, what do they call it? Page 2 or page 3 model, right? Or whatever. She's like a,
just like vapid and
right. That's what you're expecting maybe. And it like totally subverts that. And she's like an incredible character. And I love,
she's hilarious.
She's really funny. And I actually could see her being more of a favorite for this current season next year than even now. Because I feel like
maybe that will help her.
Maybe, because she's really quite good in this second season right now. Supporting actor. Right now, the favorite is still Kenan. This is Kenan Thompson. This is still a very competitive category. I know you've been on Bowen Yang for a while. If I was voting, I would pick Brett Goldstein because I love him on Ted Lasso, but I'm still not sure I wouldn't pick Bowen Yang. It's a tough. There's still a toss-up to me. I would not pick Kenan, though, if I was voting.
Wow, so harsh to Kenan.
Sorry, Kenan. Sorry to that man. I love Kenan. He's great, but
I love Kenan too, and he does deserve some hardware for his years of service on SNL, his 18 years of service. But I don't think I would vote for him either. I think I would still go with Bowen. Like, I just feel like that performance just had more like impact this season, and like everyone, even though like he has, far less screen time than Kenan because he's a featured player, which is also like, huge for him to get a nomination as a featured player in the first place. So yeah, like everyone knows that the iceberg sketch, and I think I don't know. Yeah, I would pick him. Like so, the Ted guys I enjoy. I think Brett is like the obvious like top dog of the 4, just like not just on the show like storyline wise, but I think just for this awards purposes too, although I really enjoy like Nick Mohammed.
It's really fun.
Yeah, and he's then others I don't know,
like, it's funny, like in the first season I think like Jeremy Swift was totally fine. He actually is much better in the second season. Nick Mohammed is hilarious. Brendan Hunt I really like, but again, it's like kind of like I can't imagine that would have ever won. Like I feel like that's a great nomination, but he's not going to win. Yeah, like you said, I think Brett is like really as strong as Roy Kent. He's so funny and he's so deadpan, and I just really enjoy that character. That said, we have talked about this before. The most iconic moment of this whole category is the iceberg sketch. So if like if Bowen Yang wins, like good for him, because that's an incredible moment. It's honestly like, it's hard to like think about this. Like in the last few years of SNL, has there been a non-politics sketch that has broken through the way that has? I would say no, but
I don't think so. I mean, right? I'm not a regular SNL viewer, but I can't think of anything really.
Same. It's like I watched I used to be a very much a regular viewer. Now I'm old. I fall asleep. I catch the videos the next morning.
It's on too late. It's
way too late.
Too long. Come on.
And I know I know I can watch the best parts on YouTube. And I can
exactly. That's why I'm just like, I'll just next day, whatever people are talking about.
And it's always going to be like the cold open. It's going to be like the politics. And that's how they kind of like made their living over the last like 4 or 5 years with Trump and with the election and this and that, and kept the show really culturally relevant. But it kind of went away from those like weird non sequitur SNL sketches like the Iceberg, and incredible. It's just an incredible. The only other thing I can maybe think of is like a Pete Davidson monologue, but it's like those are like more like Pete focused, obviously, because he's like talking about himself. Whereas like Bowen, he's playing an ice, like it's just a great concept. Play an iceberg. It's a great concept. So
I also feel like if you were someone who like has not seen any of these shows, like any of these performances, but you definitely would have heard about the iceberg and maybe have even just seen that, you know,
the photo.
I think,
or the photo even. I mean, like the photo is everywhere, right? Like any article that's written about Bowen Yang about the Emmys has that photo. So like that's also great. It's great marketing for himself. You got me convinced. Maybe I would vote for Bowen Yang. I'm changing my vote. Brett Goldstein, great job. I'll vote for you next year because your Ted Lasso season 2 is great. But
we don't know we're gonna have another iceberg. Okay.
No, I hope they don't do it again. I guarantee you they'll do it again, but it's not gonna be the same.
They won't try to do the iceberg again, I don't think, but they'll try to like ape like another historical event. Same vein, you know.
Yeah. The Inferno from the Towering Inferno or something. It's gonna be like, it can't be like something too serious because like I think that would be like the Titanic was serious, R.I.P. But it was also 100 years ago, so it's like maybe statute of limitations on like maybe making jokes about it has passed. Let's say. I think I would. We're going through this. I'm gonna skip directing and writing unless you really are married to doing these. Like,
I mean, I think I would do the flight attendant for directing.
That's the favorite right now is flight attendant.
Yeah, for writing, I don't know. I mean, like these are all good.
These are all good. The Ted Lasso, I'm surprised. We can talk about this quickly. I'm surprised the Ted Lasso pilot is running away with the writing when the Hacks one is right there, and I feel like
I think I would go for Hacks. Like I'm predicting Hacks.
I love Ted Lasso, but I would say like I think Hacks is more about the writing, and I'm just not convinced that Ted Lasso is going to win here, especially because there's multiple Ted Lassos.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like I think everyone agrees that Make Rebecca Great Again is the better episode, but I think people are just kind of defaulting to the pilot because it's the pilot.
All right, drama series. The top choice is The Crown. That's the favorite. If I was voting, I would actually vote for Mandalorian because the second season was great, and I know I love The Crown too. It was definitely a show that I've been very lukewarm on, let's say, for the first 3 seasons. The 4th season was great, but Mandalorian ruled, and I loved how it kind of like built its story. It's a great series to me because every episode kind of fits into get where it's going, if that makes sense. Like The Crown is a lot more like dropping in, right? Like it's like, oh, here's this. It goes through like a whole decade, basically. There's 10 episodes, so it's like kind of like not as unified maybe as like the Mandalorian is, and I just felt like every little thing that happens in Mandalorian connects to itself. So as a series, I really enjoyed it a lot more. So I would pick Mandalorian.
Yeah, I don't know what, because like none of these are like my like favorite shows. So I think I would vote for The Boys because they'll be like so different. And like it's a great show, and season 2 was great, and it's so subversive and hilarious. You know, it's like, you know, a genre like The Mandalorian, but it's just I couldn't even imagine like 15 years ago like the Emmys nominating the show, and they did it now, you know, or even like Mandalorian. But I think Mandalorian is more like straightforward, and it's obviously from Star Wars, you know, descendant. So I think like something like The Boys getting in is awesome, and I would like to see it win, even though it won't.
Love it. I love it. Best actress in a drama, Emma Corrin is the fave. MJ Rodriguez, we're running a pretty solid second choice. That's actually my top 2. I would pick Emma Corrin because she just came out of nowhere. I'd never seen her before, and she completely owned that Princess Diana role. It's hard for me to actually think of Princess Diana now without thinking of her playing Princess Diana. And while I'm very excited to see
Wow,
Elizabeth,
don't tell Kristen Stewart.
yeah, well, I'm very excited to see Elizabeth Debicki and Kristen Stewart duel like Deep Impact and Armageddon playing Princess Diana this year and early next year, whenever The Crown comes out again. Yeah, I pick Emma Corrin. I think she is a deserved winner here, though we've talked about this category a lot, actually, and it's like everyone here is really good. I think you can make an argument for everyone to win. But yeah, I would pick Emma Corrin.
I don't know what I would do here because oh my gosh. I think I would vote for any of the top three, which is Emma, MJ, and Elizabeth. No offense to Olivia Uzo and Journey. Just, you know what? This is like, I think I would vote for Elizabeth just because I think it'd be cool to have a repeat winner because she's won before and we haven't had a repeat winner here under this current system. And she was great this past season. And obviously Handmaid's has a huge resurgence this year with 21.
Yeah, no, that's I like that pick. Yeah.
So I think I would go for her. I don't know, because I feel like, you know, I don't know if like either MJ or her could actually win it, just because I feel like, you know, them being two alternatives just helps Emma.
Exactly. Yeah. There's not one person to focus on. Like if Elizabeth Moss wasn't nominated, or if Handmaid's Tale didn't have such a successful resurgence, like you said, I think MJ would have been a very easy,
I know.
like,
Although
upset
like
pick.
FX is turning up the campaign. Like, have you seen? Yeah. Like,
well, this goes. So what you just said for all your reasons for upset, I'm for best actor in drama. I'd actually pick Billy Porter. He a previous winner who has not had an up, so he would be a repeat winner. And Pose has been like, FX is really turning up on Pose. I've seen Billy Porter in a lot of places. He just did a Vanity Fair thing with Evan Peters and him, because they were on like, they're doing like you know how everybody does those, like everybody does those like put two stars together things, like they're doing Interview Magazine, right? But like now everybody does it. And so there it was Billy Porter and Evan Peters, because they'd worked together on American Horror Story Apocalypse, I believe was their season, right? It wasn't Billy Porter on Apocalypse, I think.
Yeah. Well, Evan was also on the first season of Pose.
True. But I think they were pegging it towards the American Horror Story. But anyway, long-winded way of saying I have still not remained convinced that Josh O'Connor is going to win. I don't think he's a package deal with Emma Corrin. I think Billy Porter on Pose has like a really meaty arc, obviously, and like a really, you know, big payoff in the finale. So yeah, I have Billy Porter winning. I would pick him to win if I was voting. Not that I have him winning.
You know what? I would vote for Billy too, just for another repeat winner here, a former champ winning again, because we haven't had that here. And yeah, he did have a lot of material in the season. Like very baity, very good, and
he's been everywhere. I feel like
he has. Yeah, and like I can actually. I mean, we talked about this last week. Like I can see him winning, because I don't feel like, you know, it's like not like drama actress where there's like two strong alternatives. Like I think he's the alternative here.
Yes. And I just think,
unless you want to make a case for any of the other four.
I don't. And I just think that, like, I don't know, even when you think about Charles and Diana on The Crown, you're still thinking about Diana first. I just don't buy that, like, Charles, and he's not a likable character, and I just maybe there's a personal rooting factor for Josh O'Connor. He seems like a lovely man and has a long career ahead of him, doing a lot of different projects. But I think the character, you're not rooting for that character. You are rooting for Princess Diana, I think, because she's in a pickle, and definitely like you're going to relate to her from an audience perspective of this outsider normo person going into the monarchy. So anyway, yeah, I just think there's a lot of reasons why Billy Porter would win. And I think he seems like I would pick him. And I actually do think he might win. I think he is pretty well behind. Josh O'Connor remains like almost 1,000 votes ahead in our odds or picks, but I'm like, I think it's much closer. I have no reason to think that. I know.
And the thing is like, we would never know unless he actually wins.
Right. You know? Yeah. If he doesn't win,
Josh wins, like we have no idea how far behind he is.
Right. It's true. Drama supporting actress, Gillian Anderson is the runaway pick. I can't imagine not, I would pick her also. Again, very memorable character, great performance. Everybody else in this category I think is fine, but it's hard to pick one over the other, and I think she stands above everybody else. So that would be my vote.
Yeah, I don't, this is just, domination from The Crown and Handmaids. You know what? I'm gonna go slightly rogue and go with HBC.
Nice.
Because I feel like under the tape system, she would win.
So she has the one episode that she
was the one
really
episode,
good.
Which is her submission, Hereditary Principal. Like she was like barely like a regular on season 4.
Really not in it at all. She had literally just one episode basically where she plays a major role.
And I feel like if this were the tape system, like she could actually win with that. And I know this has nothing to do with like feeling bad for her last year because everyone was predicting her to win and she lost.
Drama supporting actor, Michael K. Williams remaining a very strong favorite. Tobias Menzies running second. I would pick Menzies. I've been kind of leaning towards this in our conversations and stuff. I think he's awesome.
Love Menzies in the finale.
But he didn't even submit the finale, so joke's on me. But having watched it, even though he submitted what he submitted, having watched The Crown, I would say he's great. And his performance in the finale is like the best of, I think, this category. I don't know. I just like him a lot. And like counterintuitively, having just said, like, you're not rooting for Prince Charles, you're definitely not rooting for Prince Philip either. But I don't know. I think he has it's a weird performance, or just like a unique performance, because he's playing a guy you shouldn't really like, who's like kind of like a jerk, but also you still don't like him. But I think he put some humanity on him that you could at least see where he's coming from. It's kind of like this is like, if Succession is on in like 20 years and Jeremy Strong is still playing Kendall Roy in 20 years from now, I'm like, that's who he would be. Like he would be like Prince Philip style, and like Menzies' performance. So I would pick him. But this category I think is tough, and I think Michael K. Williams could win still. But I would pick Menzies.
Yeah, I mean, like Michael K. Williams is just like way out front.
He
right?
is.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah, he's at 1,400, and according to our odds, he's like top in the odds, 1,400. The next closest is Tobias at 277. So not really close.
Well, I am still currently predicting Giancarlo Esposito, so why not just vote for him as well?
Do it. Love it.
Why not?
Great.
He should have an Emmy by now anyway, so.
Great logic. He's barely on The Mandalorian. I have no idea how he's not.
It's a glorified cameo. It's fine. I don't.
So there you go. We can burn through drama directing and writing quickly. The Crown is an overwhelming favorite for Fairy Tale, which is like the key Charles and Diana episode. The only Mandalorian episode is the Marshall, which is the Timothy Oliphant one, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have put that one in there. I think there are other like more, like I would have actually put I forget what number it is, but like the Boba Fett one where they kind of, with like Robert Rodriguez directed, it's like a 35-minute episode. Maybe actually they did, who knows? Anyway, but yeah, I would pick The Crown, Fairy Tale for this.
Yeah, I think the Fairy Tale is probably like the safest like prediction. You know what? I will go with Handmaid's Tale.
Nice.
With the finale.
Way to go.
So,
love it.
Yeah. We have a lot of finales here.
Yeah.
A lot of finales and premieres.
Yeah.
I think like Fairy Tale is the only one that's not a premiere or a finale.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And then drama writing, similarly, a lot of finales seemingly. The Crown, War is the top choice, with Poe's series finale running too. I would probably vote for The Crown just out of like, it's the favorite, sure, but I could see an argument for the other ones. There's 2 Mandalorian episodes, The Jedi and The Rescue.
I probably would not vote for either of the Mandalorian episodes.
It's weird that those are like not ones. I think both like the directing and writing the Mandalorian episodes that were in there are not the ones I would have picked for either category. But what are you gonna do?
You know what? I will just vote for The Boys again. Why not?
Nice.
I'm just gonna support my boys.
Love The Boys. Limited series. Queen's Gambit remains a top pick. I think you have Mayor of Easttown still in your predictions. I would pick Queen's. I would vote for Queen's Gambit. I loved it. Would have my pick for a limited series. And you would have Mayor of Easttown.
Yeah, I would probably still vote for Mayor of Easttown, but you know, if you asked me at any point in the last I don't know what, like when was like 10 or even I guess 12 months now since I Made a Story was airing last year, like I would have had all 5 of these probably in first at some point, but yeah, I would vote for Mayor.
This remains an awesome category. The other ones are I Made a Story, WandaVision, and Underground Railroad. Really good shows. Limited series movie, Kate Winslet still holding strong. If it was me voting, Anya Taylor-Joy, not Anya, Anya Taylor-Joy.
Ann Taylor, according to Ron Cephas Jones.
Ann Taylor-Joy would have my pick. No, Anya Taylor-Joy would be my pick. I just love her on Queen's Gambit. I think it's still an incredible performance, and Kate Winslet, God bless her, she's great. But no, I've seen Kate Winslet be great in other stuff. I've never seen Anya Taylor-Joy be that good. That's my reasoning for voting for her. Kate Winslet. She's got Oscars, and you know she's great.
Yeah, but she did a Delco accent. Okay.
I know she did an accent. I know.
I'm actually wearing like my Delaware shirt today. So this is like such a good category. This should be the last category of the night. You know that. They should do that. Oscars.
Yes. Because you really, I mean, the other nominees are all incredible. Michaela Cole, Elizabeth Olsen, and Cynthia Erivo. Any of them could win, and I'd be happy.
Yeah, like they're all great. And it like I've mentioned this before, but like I hate that I have to put someone like, you know, like 3, 4, 5, you know, like I don't want to, you know, because I feel like they shouldn't be that low, but I just like there's no room.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd still go with Kate. Like I think that's just like that performance is just so affecting, and I think it just really struck a chord with people in a way that, you know, some of her previous performances, and I think even some of these other performances like haven't. And you know, like I still, like one of my friends just rewatched the whole show, and like she still talks about like how great Kate is, and I'm like, yeah, like, and I'm like thinking about like, should I do a rewatch sometime too? But I haven't started yet. But I like it's just such a moving performance, I think, and there's so many like nuances in there that I think if you're someone who's just kind of looking at it like superficially for like a lot of like actressing, like you wouldn't see it. Like it's a show you really have to watch to appreciate like what she does in that role. So I think I would still go with her.
I'm still so psyched for this category because, like we've said, neither one of them have backed down from campaigning. Kate Winslet has done a lot of interviews. She talked to us here. Anya Taylor-Joy, same, done a lot of interviews, and they're both like going for it. I appreciate that. I like when they're going for it. I think that makes it fun.
I know, and this is the first time they're facing off because Kate wasn't here in the winter, so
yeah, it's great. I can't wait. I'm that one. I'm really excited for. If they did change the Emmy ceremony to have it be the last one, weigh in on that. I don't think they will, but who knows? Limited movie actor Paul Bettany, your boy, still in the lead, but should be no surprise that I would vote for Hugh Grant in The Undoing. I still love you. He's great.
I mean, should we even talk about this? Because I think it's obvious what we're voting. I gotta stick with my boy Paul all the way now.
I would not.
I mean, like I like you know these other performances, like you know the Hamilton guys. Like I personally would not vote for any of the Hamilton performances. Like as much as I love them, as great as they are, I just don't think I would vote for any of them.
I would be able to make an argument for Ewan McGregor. I thought he's great in Halston. That show has kind of really went under the radar. No one seemingly has talked about it at all since it was on, but he's great in it. He's really quite good, and it's a great performance and like very underrated. And I would love to see, if he somehow pulled off a win, which he never will. It would be actually pretty cool, but like because he's really good. Yeah.
Like I think it would have been better for him if like Halston had more of like a Hollywood reception, even like that, you know, got some like bad reviews as well, but it was more mixed. Like there were people who really liked Hollywood, and it got more nominations, more acting nominations. And I feel like if he were competing with Hollywood this year in this field, he could probably win or be like higher nods at least.
Yeah. Supporting actress in a limited series or movie, limited series or movie. Catherine Hahn, Runaway Fave, Julianne Nicholson 2, Jean Smart 3, Hamilton's Renee Elise Goldsberry, and Philip Sue and Moises Ingram rounding out the category. I would vote, no offense to Catherine Hahn, Julianne Nicholson. I think that's like a better, more well-rounded performance, and the memes are great for Catherine Hahn, and she's definitely probably going to win. She's the runaway favorite, but I would not vote for her. I would vote for Julianne Nicholson.
I think I would do Julianne too. I'm
Nice.
like going all Mare here. Like,
you're a clean sweep of Mare.
I know, but yeah, like that, like her performance in the finale, man, like it's devastating. Just like,
and I really think the show hinges on her performance, right? Like, I think
yeah, totally.
It's like yeah. And that's a big reason why I would pick her over Catherine Hahn. I think Catherine Hahn is like fun, supplemental character, right? Like she's like the villain, spoilers, but I mean, come on. She's like, she's like the villain and like does a lot of funny bits and like gets to like really show off her comedic skills by moving through genres and stuff, but she's not the focus of the show, right? It's like Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany are really the engine driving the show.
It's a supporting category, so I guess
I know, but I'm like, Julianne Nicholson like is still supporting, but her like arc is really driving the emotion of the show, I think.
Yeah, and I think even like obviously Julianne's episode is the finale,
right?
And Catherine's episode is Agatha all along, but it's like really just like I feel like it's like that moment, mostly like the reveal and the song and everything, and like I love her in it, like
yeah,
I love the performance, and I think it would be really cool for a comedic performance to win this, since like most limited series are dramas. And like I mean WandaVision is like a hybrid of a bunch of stuff, but like this performance is comedic, so it'd be cool for a comedic performance to beat out a bunch of dramatic and two musical performances. But yeah, I think I would do Julianne.
Yeah, I mean Catherine Hahn's probably gonna win, so we don't have to like be like feel unhappy, like, and she's great, but I agree. I just think that I don't know. I think Julianne is great, and again, like kind of like Catherine Hahn is always great, and Julianne Nicholson is also always great. But I think at the level that she was performing on the show and the visibility that her performance received is different than anything else she's done. Right? Catherine Hahn is like Catherine Hahn. She didn't need Marvel to make her like a massive like beloved favorite. She's been in dozens of things that are like very well remembered and received. So I don't know. I think that kind of pushes her over to Julianne. That for me, at least, for voting for Julianne, but whatever. And then this is another next category, another Mare win for you, I'd imagine. Limited series or movie actor, supporting actor, Evan Peters. He's the runaway favorite. I have him too. I would vote for him too. I don't think any of the other nominees really kind of reach the bar. So I would
I would go for my poor Zabes. R.I.P. He deserves this.
Great. I agree. And I guess if I was picking two, Daveed Diggs is like the strongest number two. Hard to argue with that. He won the Tony Award for the same performance. So, and he's great, still great 5 years later. It's a great performance. But I think Evan Peters would win. I'd vote for him.
I think I would. My number two would just probably be Papa Asiadu.
Nice.
Because he's great on the show too. And I don't know. I kind of I feel bad for like Marucci Ophia, because like she was snubbed, and it was like they were basically the three leads. And then like Thomas Brody Sangster, I don't know. I mean, we've talked about this, like how like he and Moses got in over Marielle and Bill Camp.
Very strange. Remains strange.
Yeah, but he was, it was kind of like I liked him in it, but it was just kind of like the love interest.
Yeah, he's got like the flashy like playboy part, right, or whatever. I don't even think he's the most interesting of her love interests. I like Harry Melling.
Oh yeah, same. He
was great, so good. But yeah, I love Love Actually. He's still good. Thomas Brody Sangster, way to go.
Every time I hear the theme, I just like picture him running through the airport.
Yeah, and he looks exactly the same. He's great. We can burn through the rest of these pretty quickly. Movie directing, Queen's Gambit is the top choice. Two, I May Destroy You, is a WandaVision, a Mayor of Easttown, Underground Railroad, Hamilton. If I was voting for this, actually, while as much as I love Queen's Gambit, and I think we've talked about this before, I would vote Underground Railroad, Barry Jenkins, because it's definitely the most directed. I don't mean that as a pejorative. I mean, like, the stuff he's doing in the show, whether you were really infatuated with the show or kind of like not, which seemingly some Emmy voters were not. I think the artistry that he exhibits as a director in the show he would be my pick. I think it's just incredible work from like one of the best current filmmakers. So like that would be my pick. No offense, Scott Frank. I love Queen's Gambit, but Barry Jenkins would be the director I'd pick.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Barry too, also, to just like throw Underground Railroad a bone. Like, I don't think it's winning this. Like,
no, it's not. But
but I think I would do that, or either WandaVision, just for like the scope of it. Like it's like a scope in a completely different way than Underground Railroad. Like, but like they were shooting a new show every week basically, because they were just moving through the decades, so everything was always different, and they were constantly changing the sets. It's the same house, but different dressing and everything. So and I think it was like very seamlessly done with how they did it with Matt Shankman. So I think I would, if I weren't doing Underground Road, I would do WandaVision.
Nice. I don't disagree. I think that WandaVision is pretty impressive from week to week basis. And I know it's not week to week, but as overall, I would just give it. Limited series movie writing, I May Destroy You is kind of like the lead. There's 3 WandaVision episodes, Mayor of Easttown and Queen's Gambit. I think this is a perfect spot for I May Destroy You. I would vote for it. Have no qualms about voting for it.
Same.
Excited for it to win.
Yeah.
Great.
Although if I were going to pick one of the 3 WandaVision episodes, I would probably do Previously On.
Now, which one is Previously On?
That's the one with the grief line.
Great.
That everyone
people love the grief line. It's really
love
good.
The grief line.
Really good.
I don't remember anything. I mean, the pilot was fine, I thought.
It's tough. I think I watched the pilot and the second episode back to back, right?
Yeah, because they
debuted them right away. Yeah. So competition program. If I was voting, nailed it all the way. No offense to RuPaul's Drag Race. I love Nailed It. Show is hilarious. Nicole Byer rules. Nailed It would be my pick.
I'm a lifelong Amazing Race fan.
Nice.
So I'm glad that it returned, because it wasn't eligible last year. So it's never missed a nomination since this category was created. So it's never been snubbed. So it still got back in. But I would vote for Top Chef.
Nice.
Because that was actually a good season. Like,
great season.
Even though everything that happened after the fact with the winner is like, but I think, and it's won before. It pulled a huge upset over Amazing Race 11 years ago with another great season in Vegas. So can it do it again over Drag Race? I don't know, but it would be deserving.
Nice. Variety Talk Series. John Oliver is the runaway favorite as usual. I think he's won 5 in a row. This would be 6 in a row for him. If I was voting, though, it would be a coin flip between Trevor Noah and Stephen Colbert. I actually think I would pick Colbert because he had the most. He was one of the first shows to try doing the thing, the at-home thing. I thought his show was so much better in the last year at home. I think, having just watched the clips and stuff, it's kind of like not lost the step, but it's not as good as it was when he was like being creative to try to figure out ways to do it without a studio audience. Since now he's back with the studio audience, so I would pick Colbert. I love this last year of The Late Show.
It would probably not shock you to know that I would vote for Conan.
Nice. Does Conan have a shot here? We've talked about this like on and off.
I want him to have a shot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's like they're just so lazy.
And like we've said, like
I feel better if it weren't like the whole membership.
Right.
Voting.
And also, like we said, like it's not like John Oliver's show was like any worse.
It's not bad.
It's like the same show. He has the formula down. It's like very successful formula. So it's like you're not voting against Oliver. You're basically voting for somebody else. And I wonder if there's enough to get Conan.
Like Jon Stewart eventually reached a point where he was just like tired of winning.
Right.
And he's like, he didn't even go anymore. He just like sent his staff and they collected the Emmys. Like, when will John Oliver reach that point?
I mean, I don't think he'll do it this year because again, like he also had to like remove his, like he produced the show at home. I mean, like it visually, it's not much different than it was on the stage.
It's just him at a desk.
But like he still had to change, you know, like I think this year he would be happy to win. I think any of these people would be happy to win. It's a good category. Variety special recorded. Hamilton is the choice, but I think you would probably know who I'd pick. Bo Burnham, Inside, great special. Love Bo Burnham. Love the special. I would vote for him. No offense to Hamilton, it rules, but we've awarded Hamilton a lot, and that's great. It's the best show. But Bo Burnham Inside would be my pick if I was voting.
Yeah, I would probably do Inside as well, just because I also feel like it's the most different out of all of these as well. Not just, and you know, never mind the fact that like he did it all himself basically. But yeah, like again, like Hamilton, which will probably win. I don't know. It was just a taped musical.
This is this is
for posterity.
Yeah, we've talked about this. This is actually a stacked category where I'm like, Hamilton is definitely the overwhelming choice, and I think because it has all the acting honors or nominations, like it seems like no kidding it's going to win. But I'm like, you could make an argument for any of these, including the West Wing and Friends reunion. I mean, like culturally, I think they were like really big and enjoyable. American Utopia was great. Dave Chappelle's A46 is really great. It's a very strong category. Not lacking deserving winners.
Yeah. So I don't know. It probably will just be Hamilton.
Yeah, after all that, it's probably Hamilton. And the last one here in the main Emmys, variety writing, a series writing. John Oliver last week tonight is the runaway choice. A Black Lady sketch show, Saturday Night Live, Colbert, and Amber Ruffin. If I was voting, I'd actually vote Amber Ruffin. I think that the show is really good. And like it has no other nominations. People barely know it exists. But it's quite good.
Like we mentioned last week, the writers are watching Peacock.
Yeah, they are, because they got the Peacock nomination here and also Girls Five Eva. I thought Amber Ruffin was really good. I think that's
what? I would vote for her too, just because they dropped Seth from this category this year and they still have not nominated him in series. And obviously Amber is an alum of Seth and he's a producer on her show.
Somehow Seth not nominated really remains a mystery.
Very rude.
Very rude. All right. Well, Joyce, that was great. We have our ballots filled out. Now I'm going to make sure I mail them just care of the Television Academy.
Snail mail. Yeah.
Snail mail it in. They're going to say, who are you and why are you sending this to us? And I will say, count my votes.
Yes.
Every vote must count, right? Isn't that what they say?
This will work. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
If you're in line, stay in line.
For Emmy voting. So Emmy voting starts Thursday, August 18th. Is that what's today? 19th?
Today's the 18th.
Yeah. What day? Where are we? What day is it?
Who knows?
Wow,
what a week.
Yeah. All right, Joyce. This is fun. Talk to you later.